What drove me to start Wholeness was really the search for innovation and new models of care that get us out of the place that I witnessed for so many decades in psychiatry. And so what excites me is the ability to innovate care, like the Wholeness Sequence, bringing in ketamine and psilocybin together. We developed something at Wholeness called the Wholeness Sequence. And really what it is, it's a combination of ketamine and psilocybin done in a specific sequence that appears to be synergistic with the effects of each one alone. And so what we get when people come to us for a week-long sequence, on the first day, they typically get a ketamine-assisted psychotherapy session with IV ketamine. And what that does is it reduces their anxiety, reduces their stress, opens up neuroplasticity, and allows them to be more relaxed when they come in for their psilocybin treatment. The psilocybin treatment is a 6 to 7 hour treatment that can be a bit challenging for people at times. It can be a little anxious in the first hour or two. It can be a little overwhelming. But we find that when people have the ketamine given beforehand, they come in much more relaxed and they're able to let go and relax and surrender into the experience much more effectively. Likewise, integration follows the psilocybin treatment. They have a prolonged integration session, and then they have a second ketamine-assisted psychotherapy session. And that's meant to help integrate some of the loose ends. Sometimes psilocybin can leave people feeling a bit raw and overly sensitive and makes it difficult for them to integrate back to work and home and family. And ketamine helps to really ground people and bring them back to themselves and get them ready to launch into the change that is developed through this entire week-long process. The evidence for psilocybin as an agent in mental health care is coming on very strong in the last 5 years. The evidence started around 2006 when we had a report published that showed that people could have a single psychedelic experience and it could create transformation for them that was durable. And these are with healthy controls, but this is really the beginning, this paper published by Roland Griffiths in 2006, the beginning of the psychedelic renaissance. From there, psilocybin has a number of companies now pushing for FDA approval and medicalization, and that's going to happen in the next few years. And we also have a few states like Colorado and Oregon that have legalized its use. And I think we're really excited to be at the forefront of this practice because the evidence for psilocybin just continues to mount. We've had a paper published by Robin Carhart-Harris in 2018 that really outlines that 2 doses of psilocybin could create lasting change at 3 and 6 months. And then more recent papers using larger groups, phase 2B studies, show that psilocybin does create durable change with minimal side effects. And I think that's one of the highlights is that unlike conventional psychiatric medications where you're taking something every day, conceivably for the rest of your life, psilocybin is often a single treatment. Maybe it's repeated in 6 to 12 months, but it's a very different episodic model where there's very limited encounter with these mushrooms. The side effects are minimal and the risks appear to be equally minimal. The research out of Oregon and other research sites really does not see any critically risky incidents that are occurring in managed situations. So one of the really interesting and puzzling things with psychedelic research is it looks to be transdiagnostic. That is, it looks to be very helpful for treating major depression, treatment-resistant depression. It appears to be helpful for reducing anxiety. It appears to be helpful. We have some preliminary research around PTSD, but certainly with substance use and addiction issues, it also looks to be very significant. These agents appear to be anti-addictive, unlike many of the psychiatric agents that we use where addiction is a real possibility. I think it represents opportunity for deepening psychotherapy in a number of different ways. And I think much of the benefit we're seeing with psychedelics comes from an improvement in neuroplasticity, and that's the brain's ability to learn and grow and change. And people come to us for healing, for care, for psychotherapy because they want change. They're stuck. And I think psychedelic agents are the best agents we've found that enhance neuroplasticity and help people to create the change they want in their lives.